let's go ahead and get rolling and kind of get to what y'all are all here for. So first of all, hello and welcome to today's webinar. We're excited to talk to you all about 3 steps you can take to ensure that you're getting paid without having to file a lien. Now, I know we probably have a mix of current Level Set customers here, as well as some people who may have just heard the name Level Set for the first time in the last few days. So we'll definitely cover some of the basics, who we are, what we do, for those of you that are new, as well as take a little bit of a deeper dive into our tools that can help you get paid faster. But before moving on, I just want to say that we are recording this live session, so you'll receive a link to the recording in your email tomorrow. Feel free to share that with your team, supervisor, or feel free to just refer back to it if you miss any information that I covered in this one. Also, if you have any questions at all during the presentation, go ahead and enter them in the chat box. We'll try to answer as many as we can throughout the webinar, but we'll also try to leave a couple of minutes here towards the end for any additional questions. So moving on, who am I? Let's do some quick intros before jumping into the session. My name is Richard Kane. I'm an account manager here at Level Set, and basically my job is to help our customers get the most out of their Level Set account using tools that we'll walk through today. And I love talking to people, kind of hearing, what their experience is, what issues they're having, and really just taking a consultative approach to helping you manage your lien rights and get paid faster, because that's what we're all here for. All right. Well, in case this is your first time at Level Set, I want to give a quick overview of who we are and what we do. We all know the construction industry presents all sorts of challenges when it comes to getting paid. Well, Level Set's here to help you get paid. Our lien rights management software helps you track mechanics lien and notice deadlines, verify job site information, and basically just makes it easier to manage your lien rights paperwork. We also provide access to construction attorneys and other legal services. Plus, we have all kinds of resources on our website, from profiles outlining customers' payment histories to educational guides as well. So we're really a one-stop shop if you are in the construction industry trying to get paid on jobs. You come to us, we got pretty much everything. So again, mentioned 3 steps. What are the 3 steps? Well, generally speaking, whenever you're looking to take on a new investment, and a new investment in, let's say, a new contractor, a new GC that you're looking to work with, would be to pre-qualify them. And our risk reports are going to be what we use to help pre-qualify them. Again, like I said, we've broken that down into 3 steps, which is going to help you greatly reduce the need to file a lien. And this is the first step in that process. Maybe you're considering working with a new contractor. You have no idea what their payment history is or how many disputes they've been involved in. Well, you can utilize our risk reports to essentially give you a report card on new potential companies you're looking to do business with. You're going to see things like if they've had payment disputes or issues in the last 90 days, what their job index dispute is, what their speed to payment is. And this is going to show you how many days on average it takes a company in question to pay their subs. And then, the thing that's going to wrap it up is basically an overall payment risk score, giving you the ability to review a company's payment history quickly and accurately. It's essentially a construction specific report card, so you can build relationships with new contractors and feel confident that you're going to get paid in full on time. A quick story about these. I was speaking with a customer just a few weeks ago, and probably an issue that a lot of y'all have had. They're looking to take on new work. Hey, aren't we all? And they had an opportunity to possibly work with a new GC in a different state. Well, they didn't really know anything about that GC, so they were looking for more information on him. They were utilizing our risk reports to kind of look up information on them. It just so happened that GC actually, with our kind of proprietary algorithm, had a pretty good score. So they were able to go into that relationship feeling confident that they're going to get paid on that job right there. And I've also had it go the other way, where companies are looking at working with somebody new, and maybe their credit score, their credit risk report isn't so good. Well, that's one where you're going to maybe look twice. Think about that twice before you jump in with a new GC like that. Or if you do, at least you kind of know what you're getting yourself into. So again, great tool to make sure that you're pre-qualifying contractors and GCs that you're looking to work with. So that's going to be step 1 in the process. Step 2, something that, again, a lot of y'all are probably familiar with already, and that is, our lien rights management process. Depending on what state you're performing work in, there are documents that might need to go out prior to the start of a job. You can automate these documents within Level Set so that you're always protecting your lien rights should you need to enforce them. Generally, the first document to go out is your preliminary notice. And the title of this can vary from state to state. Some refer to them by different names. So pre-liens, notice of furnishing, notice of commencement, notice to owner. But basically, they're all do about the same thing. They're going to announce that you're on the job and that you expect to get paid. After that, a simple payment reminder can be delivered. That's usually something you'll send out after the job's complete as a friendly reminder that you're ready to get paid. And then escalating from there are things like payment demands, which basically lets your contractor know that now you're serious about getting paid for the work you've completed. This is typically the step where we see most companies get paid if there's a non-payment issue. It's easy to ignore some of those friendly reminders, but that word demand tends to help people find their checkbook a lot quicker. One thing we hear all the time: I don't want to send out preliminary documents to customers I've worked with for years. I probably had this conversation, a good 5 to 10 times a week, and I totally understand it. You've maybe developed a relationship with someone, you've been working with them for a number of years. I've even heard people work together for almost 30 years. So it's like a marriage pretty much. That being said, a story that I hear almost every day, several times a week at least, is, I always like to ask my customers, like, well, why did you come to Level Set in the first place? What brought you here? And a lot of times it's a similar story. And that is, they've been working with somebody for years. They had a handshake deal with them, and this was the time that it went south on them. For whatever reason. A lot of times it's not malicious. Maybe they're having cash flow issues themselves. They go bankrupt, things happen, but whatever it was, that handshake deal they had went south, and now they're out, a good sum of money, whatever that might mean to you. For some people, it's 10,000. For some people, it's 100,000. For some people, it's $1 million. But whatever that number is, that's important to y'all. Making sure that you're protecting that right to, your lien rights is important. And sending out these types of documents, step 2 in the process, will help secure your rights to not have to file a lien. It greatly reduces it. Moving on, another feature that we have that probably some of you all have seen in the Level Set platform is our Job Radar Premium feature. And, so let's say you've decided to work with a contractor based on the information provided in your risk report. You're sending out the proper preliminary notices through the Level Set platform. Well, now we want to make sure that you have the same level of visibility and can address any potential payment issues immediately and in real time while you're working on the project. And Job Radar Premium is a tool that provides you with valuable alerts that's going to help you monitor the flow of payment on your job. You're going to see things like if there's any payment issues or potential payment delays, lien alerts letting you know if a lien has been filed on a job, if a company on your project is filed for bankruptcy. And for those of you in states with notices of completion, I think that's about 7 or 8 states, you'll get those notices as well. We'll come back to that one a little bit, because that's actually kind of a sneaky important one for y'all that have notice of completion notices that get filed in your state. So this information that Job Radar Premium provides, it'll let you know what's happening on your project in real time, so you can take necessary actions on a job, making sure your payment's secured. If you're like some of our customers that I referenced a few minutes ago, maybe you don't always send out those preliminary notices to GCs you've been working with for a year. Job Radar Premium it's a good way to kind of make sure that you're keeping tabs on the job that you're on. I really like to think of it as it's keeping a bird's eye view on that project. So you're getting some inside info that not everyone has, that's going to allow you to kind of get to the front of the line. Just last week, I actually spoke to one of my accounts who was very interested to know if a lien had been filed on a job. They were a material supplier, and that was going to kind of change maybe how they proceeded. If they found out that there was a lien or multiple issues going on in the job, they would look for some type of upfront payment or cash on delivery, instead of kind of extending them that line of credit if they found out there were issues going on. Luckily for them, there were no issues on that job. So they were able to kind of go in with confidence that they were going to get paid on that one. But we've certainly seen it the other way as well. So it really gives you the most information to make the best decision possible for you or your business. So basically, we've kind of covered those 3 steps. Well, how do they work together? Well, you're all here because filing a lien, it's a hassle. It requires time, requires money that you shouldn't have to spend. These 3 tools working in conjunction: risk reports to pre-qualify your GCs and contractors, preliminary notices and whatnot to make sure that your lien rights are protected while you're on the job, and then monitoring Job Radar Premium. They're here to ensure that you're getting paid for the work you perform. They work in conjunction with one another to keep you constantly informed and aware of any potential payment issues, potential risks, so that you can make the best decision for you and your company. As a quick reminder, we'll answer any questions you have at the end. So if you want to, you can go ahead and throw those in the chat box a little bit. But I also wanted to, again, throw in some success stories so you can hear that, really understand how these tools will help. If I can draw your attention kind of to the top alert here saying that, someone got paid. Hopefully that's you, right? So, one of the things I always like to point out when people are asking about, when we use words like risk, liens and stuff like that, obviously those tend to have negative connotations. A lot of times though, you can use these in a positive way in the sense that you get a risk report on a GC and you're getting good information back. Well, that's awesome. That means that you can go in with the peace of mind of knowing that you're dealing with a reputable company, reputable people that are going to pay you on time. Same thing with Job Radar Premium. It'll help you monitor the flow of payment. Well, maybe the flow of payment is fantastic. That's great. So no more sleepless nights or having to scramble. You should still obviously be sending out your preliminary notices and doing all that kind of stuff. But again, it helps to give you that peace of mind to make sure that your payments are being protected. And moving on. We always like to share a few quotes that some of the level set customers are saying about these tools and features. The first one, that's a Trustpilot review. And if you haven't heard of Trustpilot, it's kind of like Yelp for contractors a bit. One thing we're very proud of here at Level Set is we have, I know it's over 3,000. We might be approaching 3,500 5-star Trustpilot reviews on there. So we always love that. We try to go above and beyond for our customers, and we love when they give us good feedback like that. But anyway, back to the screen here. Before going into a job, wouldn't you like to know if there are payment problems? For those of us working in credit, knowing this information ahead of time is vital and allows us to make the best decisions. And that's what risk reports do. It levels the playing field. So yeah, again, gives you that inside info to help you pre-qualify those GCs to know who you're going into business with. Up next, Thomas Box, he's director of credit at Irby Construction. We now have our preliminary notices going out automatically, and I just let them fly. I was hesitant at first, but it was very helpful. We're all so busy and there's never any downtime. So to have one less thing on our plates is great. I will bet there's a lot of people in here that spend a lot of time sending out preliminary notices and those types of documents. That's something that just having Level Set helps you cut down a lot of time, even if you're sending them out yourself. But B, there's also a feature within the Level Set platform that allows you to automate those as well around parameters that work for you and your business to make sure that you're not missing any deadlines and that's going out when they're supposed to go out. And then finally at the bottom, Isla Goturk, she's a credit manager in collections at Waste Connections. We always use Job Radar alerts as an opportunity to take a deeper dive into our own AR. We see this as an early warning system to take a look at potential problems. So again, that's what she's using it as. She's using it to, again, monitor the flow of payment on a job, see if there's any issues going on. And then again, they will come to a good decision for them and their business once they find out what that information is. All right, so let's move on to some questions that have maybe come in. I've seen a few of them pop up in the chat. We have a few that are kind of the people have sent in already as well. Let's see. Question 1, I've been working with the same company on jobs for the past 3 years, and there have been some slow pay problems. I'm worried that sending out notices and payment demands could hurt the relationship with my GC. Has this happened to any other customers, and what was the outcome? Yeah, I think I referenced that kind of earlier in the presentation as well. But yeah, we hear that all the time. In our opinion, it's you guys we can certainly make friends in the industry, but it's a business. And I think when you're working with GCs and other contractors, they respect it as a business too. And so one thing I think that's interesting that I've shared with customers before is, again, through Level Set's proprietary information, we can sometimes look on jobs and see, how many prelims are being sent out. So you might be working with a GC and you'd be like, well, you know what? I don't want to send out this prelim because I don't want to hurt the relationship. Understandable. But just so you know, 14 other people have sent out prelims on that job, whether they've known that GC for a long time, or maybe that's a new person to them. So again, I think it's just healthy business practices. And if you kind of establish that cadence up front, and that you're going to have that relationship up front. Even if it's something new you're undertaking, you can definitely look to give them a heads up and make sure they're aware of it. But I think, again, as long as they are a reputable business, they're going to understand where you're coming from on that. Let's see, another question. What can I do, or what do I do with the information in a risk report? Well, again, it gives you a great idea of who you are you're going to be working with. The analogy I always like to present, I like to flip it around. Most of us in here, we've probably bought a car before, we've bought a house. So think about the being on the side of the car dealer or the bank that's looking to lend that person money. What are they going to look at? They're going to run your credit report, and that's going to run from, I think, what is it, 200 to 800 now. I gotta confirm that one, but yeah, they're going to run your credit report, and if you have great credit, they're going to offer you a loan at probably a pretty good or a very favorable interest rate to you. If your credit is maybe okay but not great, they'll probably still offer you that loan at a slightly higher interest rate. And if your credit's not so great, they might really look, they either give you a super high interest rate, or they're not going to offer you that loan at all. And that's kind of what you can do with those risk reports. Again, it's broken up into A, B, and C sections right there. So I believe the high end is if they have a 750 rating. That's going to allow them, that's going to give you good confidence to know that they're good people to work with. Again, if they get a B rating, which is probably where most contractors fall in, you're going to know that, yeah, they're pretty good. Maybe they have some issues every once in a while, but for the most part, they're good business to work in. And then the C ratings are the ones you're really going to have to take a look at and decide whether or not this is a good decision for you to go in, and maybe have some terms up front with them. And then, regardless if it's A, B, or C, again, should still be sending out those preliminary notices to owner, all that kind of stuff. But you definitely want to make sure you have your T's crossed and your I's dotted when you are dealing with somebody in that C category right there. Let's see. What type of information does Job Radar show that would matter most to me? Well, I suppose it depends on your role, but if I'm being honest with you, liens, that's usually the most important thing. That's the one that people want to know the most about. Is there a lien filed on my job? And I've heard a variety of answers that people would do with that information. A lot of people, they said if they know the person, they would go directly to them, say like, hey, what's going on, and work out a situation. But again, it's making sure you're staying organized and you're sending out the right documents when you see those notices on a Job Radar to make sure you're being protected. I have a few friends in the industry that work for large construction companies, GCs, and I won't name them. I won't name names on this one, but they've confided to me that basically, when they're on a large project and they're getting these, it comes time to open the checkbook and start paying people, they generally have two piles. They have a pile of the subs that they've been working with that have filed preliminary notices and those types of documents. And then they have a pile of people that haven't. And more than likely, the people in the pile that have been filing those notices are generally going to get paid first. They're the ones that are going to, keep sending them notices and paperwork and whatnot. And those are the people that also are securing their lien rights. GCs don't want to have to deal with liens too. If they don't want to, y'all don't want to have to file them. They don't want to have to deal with them. So generally speaking, the squeaky wheels that are putting in those preliminary notices and whatnot are going to get paid first on the job. And again, you'll be able to monitor that through the Job Radar Premium feature, making sure you have those in there. Let's see, any more? Let's see, I think we could probably do at least one more here. I am new to Level Set. In the first couple of jobs I've sent preliminary notices on to my customer on an insurance job, reached out and told me they do not appreciate the notice of intent to lien. What steps can I take in order to have this customer back me to this and to not come after me when the notices are sent? I think if I'm understanding that question correctly, it's, you sent some notices of intent, and what steps can I take in order to have the customer to come back to you after the notices are sent? Most people probably wouldn't like it if you send notices of intent. I suppose, did you follow the proper protocol originally? A lot of times, if the first document that they're getting from somebody is a notice of intent, that can be a little jarring. I do know customers that do that. They won't send out preliminary notices. They just send out like a notice of intent and then follow it up quickly with a lien. That is not generally what we prescribe as best practices. And I would say our most successful customers are, again, sending out those preliminary notices and whatnot first before they're getting the notice of intent. What can you do with that notice of intent, though, if you are sending it out? Yeah, basically, like I said, they're not going to be happy getting it. I think communication. If you are communicating with that company about the situation, most of the time, I think people are going to be reasonable. They're gonna handle it reasonably. The situations where I've seen it kind of get out of hand is when one party, and it's usually the party that is wanting to, the party that is supposed to pay the other, when the GC stops responding, that things kind of break down a bit, because then now the lines of communication aren't there. Let's see. I think we got time for at least one or two more here. Does Level Set have a program in place to file liens at the minimum of $550 limit? Majority of my lien notices are sent out for jobs that are near 500 to 750 range. Paying the Level Set fee of 450 is a tough pill to swallow each time a lien is needed. Yeah, no, I totally understand. Yeah, that's all. I'll be honest. That's a tricky one. If you have a job that's like 550, 600, 700, you know, that's kind of an up to you thing. If filing a lien is worth going through that hassle right there. What I will say is Level Set subscribers definitely have access to reduced lien costs. So I want to say the vast majority of our Level Set subscribers have access to liens that are $249. So again, if you have, let's say, a $700 job, you file a $249 lien. That's certainly not ideal. We don't want to have to do that, but at least there's some good, there's a good break in there. There's at least about a $500, $450 discrepancy in there that you can collect on. Yeah, you're right. Spending $450 on a $550 job, that's a tough pill to swallow, no doubt about it. So the hope is that with these three steps I provided today, pre-qualifying who you're working with, sending out the proper documents, and then using Job Radar Premium to kind of monitor it as the job's going along, the odds of you having to file a lien are going to reduce drastically. And then you won't get stuck in a situation, hopefully, too often. If it's once in a while where you have a 700 job that you're having to file a lien on, that stinks. But if it's a one-off, then it's a much easier pill to swallow than if you're having to do that, let's say, once a month, or you're having to file liens on kind of those smaller level jobs quite a bit. Let's see. I think we have time for one more here. I am in Maryland. What paperwork on our end in restoration, we have a lot of restoration customers, is needed to file liens, and do you all move to a foreclosure step? If I'm being honest with you, I would have to go back and look at the Maryland kind of set for deadlines and whatnot, and what exact notices are needed in Maryland. I'm pretty sure, though, again, it follows a fairly standard procedure. Preliminary notice. You can send out some payment reminders, payment demand letters, and then move to file a lien. I would have to look and see if a notice of foreclosure is available in Maryland. I know it's available in some states, but if I'm being honest with you, I don't know about Maryland. But there is definitely probably after this, if you were to search, Maryland lien law FAQ on Google, I almost guarantee you Level Sets is going to pop up first on that one. And that'll kind of show the steps you would need to take to make sure you're following the proper documentation in that one. I know for you restoration companies, this is paramount, because you're getting a lot of people that are dealing with now you're getting insurance companies involved, and that's always fun. Anytime we have to deal with an insurance company for anything, but when the issue is getting paid for your work provided, that's a whole nother layer in there. So we actually do a lot of work with restoration companies. The payment demand letter seems to be the one that works really well. I have quite a few restoration companies that are my accounts, and I help set up those payment demands for them, and they send those out, and they collect on a large amount of business for that. Well, let's see. I know we're coming up on time here. We don't want to monopolize your time, so if there are no more questions, I would just love to thank you all for spending, your 30 minutes with us today. I hope this 3-step process outline here kind of gives you something to think about. and how you're going forward with your own process to make sure you don't have to file any more liens, or at least reduce the likelihood greatly. And as I mentioned before, you'll be receiving the recording via email in the next few days. And we'll also send out a recap of these 3 steps so you can reference them and keep your jobs protected. So please reach out to us if you have any questions. We are here to help. We want to help you guys get paid faster. That is the goal. So everyone have a fabulous day. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, appreciate it, y'all.